Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a guide to Twintania. It's unscripted, so keep that in mind as you watch it. All the sections will be broken down and put into the description so that you can click on the different sections of the fight and go directly to that point. So if you're only having problems with dive bombs, you'll be able to click on and go directly to the dive bombs instead of watching the whole entire fight. It's about an hour long, so the sections are they're pretty long and pretty detailed. So hopefully you'll find the information inside of each section pretty useful. But that's pretty much it. So here's the video. Hey guys, this is a comprehensive guide to beating Twintania. Twintania is the last boss of turn 5, and she's the only boss in turn 5. So basically, Twintania is an easy fight once you understand the mechanics, but a lot of people don't understand mechanics. And there's a lot of guides on how to beat Twintania, but they don't really break all the mechanics all the way down. So I'm going to break the mechanics down for you so that you can understand the fight and beat the fight. This video is going to show you exactly how we do the pull and how we beat Twintania. So the first part of beating Twintania is the initial pull. Initially, we run a warrior and a paladin. We don't run single tank or 2 paladins. We run warrior and paladin. Because we have 2 tanks, we do our pull a certain way. The first thing we do, we send down the off tank. He's going to run down the hill and attack one of the scourges, the far left scourge. When he attacks that scourge and runs down the hill, he's going to automatically pull hate from everyone. So just because he's running down the hill, everyone's automatically going to focus on him. He's going to attack the scourge on the left, and that's going to bring the scourges in, and he's going to keep attacking the scourges to keep hate on the scourges. When you're tanking, it's important that you keep hate on whatever you're tanking. You got to keep attacking, you got to keep using your skills, you got to use your skills that grab hate. You can't just attack something and expect to keep hate. And that's a problem that a lot of tanks have. They attack something once and then they say, I can't hold the hate, or someone's doing too much, or you're doing this and doing that. If you're a tank, you can hold all the hate of all the damage, even if you have people doing 300 DPS. There shouldn't be a problem with you not holding hate, unless you're not using your skills. So our tank is going to run down the hill, he's going to attack the scourge, and all the scourge, everything is going to come to him. All 4 enemies are going to come to him because he's running down the hill and he's in their range. So they're all going to attack him, and then once they attack him and he's focused on the scourge, our main tank is going to grab Twintania. Now the main tank is going to, he's a paladin, so he's going to use provoke, shield lob, provoke, shield lob, and pull her off to the side. That's going to be enough to grab the initial pull. So he grabs hate, attacks the scourge on the left. Our main tank provokes and shield lobs twice on Twintania. So this is how you do the initial pull. This is the first thing. And if you don't do this initial pull right, you'll get the whole squad belly flopped, which is the move that she was about to do. What Twintania was about to do on the paladin. She was about to belly flop him. So you have to be sharp and quick to just grab the hate tanks. That's all you have to do in the initial pull. So you can see our warrior grabbing the hate from the scourges, and our main tank grabbing the hate from Twintania. And that's pretty much all you have to do for the first phase, the first part of the fight. So this next phase is the phase with the liquid hells. The liquid hells phase is basically when the scourges launch liquid hells at the group, and there are these big circular areas like you see right there. That circular area is the liquid hell, and inside that area you take initial damage from being hit with it, and then you take a tick, a dot, or damage over time. You'll take constant damage as long as you stand inside of that area. So it's important that you get out of that area. So you're setting up to kill the scourges, and you're watching out for liquid hells. So the positioning doesn't really matter too much, but you want to have Twintania positioned in a spot where you can move her to her first location where she's gonna drop her first necklace. Once she hits a certain percentage, she drops a necklace. These necklaces are used so that we can stand in them for when she does her Giga Flare. The Giga Flare and for the little bombs, the purple bombs that come out. I don't even know what they're called, but it doesn't matter. So at this point, you're setting up. You have the initial pull. The main tank has Twintania. The off tank has the 3 scourges. So as you can see, they're attacking the scourges one by one. The main tank is being healed by the Scholar. The off tank is being healed by the White Mage. The White Mage's job is to heal the whole squad. The Scholar's job is to heal the main tank. That's his primary focus. Now, if you see someone's health low, or a bunch of people's health low, and for some reason the White Mage is in a position to heal everyone, of course you help out. But for the most part, this fight should be only phase hits, meaning the people that are being attacked are only being attacked by certain attacks that are happening in phases. They're not like constantly being attacked. So as you can see, you can see their health dropping down. Like Animander's health is below half, but it really doesn't matter because he's just being attacked by liquid health. He's not being constantly attacked, so I don't have to focus or rush to heal him. So as far as the healers in this phase, all you're doing, you're focusing. The Scholar's focusing the main tank by using Adloquium. I pretty much use all Adloquium. I don't use Physic like at all anymore. I used to use Physic, and I used to manually use Physic and Embrace together, but you save more MP, and you can manage your MP better, and you can heal better just by using Adloquium straight up. And then if his health drops too low, you can use the Adloquium and then use Physic to try to burst his health up with the shield from Adloquium. But if not, you can use Lustrate. It's a lot of different things you can do, and I'll show you some of the techniques as I go through. The White Mage is pretty much using Cure, and then once he gets the free cast, he's using Cure too. When the whole group is attacked, the White Mage is using Cure 3 and Medica 2. These are important skills that they use so that this team stays alive. So this initial phase, this is all this phase is. So the first phase you're pulling. This phase you're dodging liquid hells and setting up for moving Twintania. So you can see where we have her positioned. That position is a pretty good position so that you can move her so that she can drop her first Neurolink. The Neurolinks are going to be used to stand in them to take less damage during the Giga Flare, and for the tank to stand in when the purple bombs are coming out. And if he stands in that spot, he can pretty much negate all the purple bombs. Now, Death Sentence happens every 35 seconds, regardless of what's going on. As long as Twintania is on the ground, she's attacking with Death Sentence every 35 seconds. So what you want to do is have a Stone Skin on the tank and have a Adlo on the tank when the Death Sentences start. So once she's hit with the first Death Sentence, you can count, set yourself up a timer, whatever you want to do. You're counting 35 seconds. If the tank is hit with full health with a Stone Skin and an Adloquium on him, he will not get the debuff for the Death Sentence. The Death Sentence attacks for a lot of like maybe 4,000 or something like that, and it adds a debuff that makes it harder to heal him up. Lustrate can go past the debuff, so if he is debuffed and he has low health, then the Scholar should be using Lustrate to get his health back up to a reasonable level so that you can start, start the healing process, waiting for the debuff to come down or come off. So as you can see, he has the debuff now, and he had low health. Our White Mage is good, so he used Benediction to get his health back up to full in one shot. And now I'm using Lustrates to get his health back up past the half mark or past the low mark, because he was still debuffed. Now once he's out of the debuff, you can start doing regular heals. Every group has gotten this far, but it's the next few phases that people are having trouble with. So let's move on to the next phase. Okay, so now we're moving into the third phase. At this point, the Scourges are starting to go down. They're going down one by one. We're getting ready to move Twintania over to her first location, which is just to the right of the spawn where you walk, or not the spawn, but to the right of the area where you walk in, where you see those two humps behind the tank. That's where the initial spot is, or the initial Neuralink is going to be dropped, and that's where the tank is going to stand once we take the snakes out. And you'll see that whole point. Now the way we do our stacks, we stack with the main tank, or sorry, the Scholar, the Black Mage, the Warrior, and the Dragoon are on the left side, and we have the healer Summoner with Garuda with the pet, and we have the and the Bard on the right side. Sorry, the main tank is in front of Twintania, and we're all attacking except for the two healers, of course. I placed my fairy right behind the area where, right behind us, so that if the fireballs hit, she would be right out of the range of the fireballs, as you can see right there. And the first Neuralink drops, then you want to move up the hill just a little bit. You can see the little spot where we have her up the hill. If you look at that area on the ground, it's where it's like a little freckled area, right where it starts to break. It's like gray freckled area. You can see it. That's where we place her, or for the second Neuralink. So all we're doing at this point, once we kill the Scourges, we're moving her over to the first position, and we're getting ready for fireballs, and we're getting ready for conflagrations. And we do this by using 4 men on the left side, and then 3 men on the right side with Garuda, which makes 4. We use the four stack method instead of like having people moving around back and forth and all the other methods. So it's important that the scholar has to place his fairy outside of the group. This way you don't get a stack of 5 with the fireballs. And basically what the stacks do, based off of the amount of people inside of the fireball, it splits the damage to those people, but it also gives you a certain amount of time to destroy the conflagrations. With 4 people, you have 10 seconds to destroy the conflagrations on a normal conflag or a fast conflag, and you have about, I don't know, 15-20 seconds to destroy it on a slow conflagration. The slow conflagrations are the conflagrations where you can run the fireball into them. So the first Neuralink is dropped right under that second hump on the right side of the spawn if you were looking at it from coming in. The second, as you can see where we moved it right here, right up the hill, just a little up the hill, that's where the second Neuralink is going to be dropped. So I'm telling you this because the placement of these Neuralinks is important for the next phases. So that's just one part of this second or third phase. So you have to be very careful to place these Neuralinks in a place where you guys are comfortable getting to it. It doesn't matter where they're at. It really doesn't matter where they're at. It's all about whether or not you guys are going to be able to get to the point comfortably. So based off of how we do the fight, we place them on this on the right side together, and this makes it really easy for us to take the snakes out and defeat the snakes really fast, and get back into the Giga Flares, or get back into the Neuralink during the Giga Flare. So we have our 2 stacks, 4 men on the left, 3 men on the right with Garuda, and the fairies placed outside of the group. And then King Richard is in front of Twintania, of course, the main tank. So once that Neuralink breaks at the bottom of that hill, we wait for a fireball. So everyone, as you can see, everyone's standing still waiting for the fireball. Once the fireball is set on that group, then we can start moving up to the next point. So you see where the tank is now? That's where the second Neuralink is going. So at this point, we're going to start having conflags. So the conflags are these. You'll see it indicated by the blue icon on top of the person's head. It's important that he runs under Twintania. He's running under Twintania because that makes it easier for everyone to attack the conflag and hit Twintania at the same time, and it gets the conflag away from the group. So let's go ahead and move on to that next phase. Alright, so this phase is the conflagration and fireball phase. Basically, once you have your 2 stacks set up, 4 people on each side, you can do it however you want. You do not have to have them stacked the same way. You absolutely do not have to have them stacked the same way. You don't even have to do it with 2 tanks. You can do it with 1 tank. You can do this fight however the hell you want. But this is just the way we do it. So basically, as you can see, the conflag spawns on top of someone's head. You'll see a blue marker. As soon as they see this marker, they should immediately stop whatever they're doing. Run under Twintania. Immediately. There's no reason for you to sit there and try to get one more hit out. This is how you fail at this part. So once the conflagration comes, you're going to go ahead and run in. You're going to go ahead and run into the middle. If you see the fireball, you're going to run into the middle also. If you see them at the same time because you're doing so much DPS, they both can run in at the same time and it's going to be fine. As you can see, we just did. So it's very important that when these conflags happen, that people run under Twintania immediately. When fireballs happen and conflags happen at the same time, you run together or run into the conflag. Now, if the fireballs happen alone, you have to stand alone, or so you have to stand with your group, sorry, and take the fireball. Once the fireball happens, the white mage is going to heal the whole group with a Cure 3. If your white mage isn't casting Cure 3, it's basically going to cause the healers to have to focus on healing individually or wasting MP basically. So it's really important that the white mage casts Cure 3 on the group once the group is hit with a fireball. So that's pretty much all this phase is. You're basically attacking Twintania. When you see a conflag, you run immediately to the middle. When you see a fireball, you run the fireball right into it. So I got a fireball, run right into the middle. You stop whatever you're doing. If you're in the middle of cast, you stop. And you run them right in. It's that simple. You have 10 seconds to destroy a conflict that's by itself. And you have around 15-20 seconds to destroy it if it's accompanied with a fireball, because the fireball resets it. It slows it down basically. I'm not sure the specifics on how that works yet, but we know if the conflag and fireball happen together and you run the fireball into the conflag, it slows it down or resets it or stops it from blowing up or whatever. It just makes it easier to, or it gives you more time. So regardless of how much time that really is, it just gives you more time. So as you can see, conflag, everyone's switching over to the conflag, everyone's attacking the conflag. This is how the conflags go down. This is how you get past this port. You get the fireball, you run right in. That's really all this phase is about. And her position is just based off of where we're going to stand once the Giga Flare happens. So we have her standing there just waiting for her to drop the Neurolink so that we can have that position. And then we're going to get ready for the dive bomb phase, which is going to be the next phase. So as far as MP is concerned, as you can see, our white mage is running low on MP. I'm halfway through MP, but I have an ether flow stack and I have a full stack, so I have plenty of MP right now. I'm just using add low and I'm using lustrate whenever he's attacked with death sentence. So as you can see, every single time we get hit with a fireball, our white mage does the Cure 3 on the whole group, and that basically fills us all, pretty much all the way to the full. The fairy is in the back healing everyone also, so whenever everyone's health is low, the fairy is also helping. So it just really takes the load off whenever the white mage is using Cure 3 on the groups that are getting hit with the fireball. So this is pretty much all this phase is. You should experience 3 or 4 conflagrations, maybe 5 or 6 if your DPS isn't as good. But for the most part, it should be a pretty predictable part of the fight. All you're waiting for is for her to drop down to about 53%, and then she's gonna drop the Neurolink, and then you're gonna start the dive bomb phase. So this is pretty much all this phase is. Okay, this next phase is the dive bomb phase. This is the one phase that everyone has a lot of problems with, the dive bomb phase. It's a really easy phase. The key to the dive bombs is for everyone to be at the same point when you see the little green marker. She's going to attack wherever the green marker is. As soon as you see the green marker, it's okay to move. So you don't have to wait. As soon as you see the marker, you need to leave. This is how you dodge the dive bombs. It's really simple. So basically all you're doing, we're using the little bottom spot. As you can see, this little bottom spot. You can get to this part before the fight even starts, so that you can see where it is. It's right to the right of the it's immediately to the right of the spawn, or the entrance to the fight. You can see where we placed the Neuralinks. The first one on the right by the little two humps that are in the back. The second one is a little further up the hill, and then we're basically using that little hill, this little crevice, a little ditch as the spot where we're dodging the dive bombs. It makes it really easy because it's a single point that everyone can easily get to. If you mess up, you'll go into the feathers and die. But if you get close enough to the feathers and have that hit attack at the bottom, it makes it easy for everyone just to run out and no one gets hit. So dive bombs are pretty much like they're like 6 seconds apart. They're 6-ish seconds apart. So as you can see from the first dive bomb, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's pretty much the point and when the next dive bomb happens. So it's about 6-ish seconds between the dive bombs. So you can count it if you want, if it helps the group, because everyone should be on TeamSpeak or using some type of voice application to talk, unless everyone just knows the fight. But other than that, you should be using some type of voice communication. Whoever's leading the fight needs to be calling out all the phases, needs to call out these things for everyone, because there's a lot of different things that you have to get used to seeing and happening in order to deal with the fight and for it to be easy. So it's not like you're gonna just watch this video and then, okay, now you're a pro. You really need someone who's gonna lead the fight, who understands all the sections, who can call out everything for you guys and make it a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier for me just hearing someone calling different things out, saying dive bomb, move out. Even though you can see it yourself, just having someone guiding you through the fight makes it a lot easier. So as soon as you see the green from the dive bomb, as soon as you see that green circle, move out. It's gonna hit wherever that spot is. So as you can see, that's the dive bomb phase, and no one gets hit. That's the easiest way to do it. So the next phase is the 3 snakes, and we have a really easy way of dealing with the snakes too. And we're gonna pretty much be in the same spot. So let's go ahead and move to the next phase. Okay, this next phase is the snake phase. It's a really easy phase. After the 3 dive bombs, you're gonna run into 3 snakes. The one main snake is a Cephalus or whatever his name is, doesn't really matter. And then the 2 Hygeias. So you have 2 little snakes and 1 big snake. There's no AoE slash. The only attack that happens is an attack that goes directly towards the person that has the aggro. So right now the tanks and the off tank are taking all the damage. We can all stack up. It doesn't do any damage to us, so it's fine for us to stack up. At this point, as a healer, the only thing I'm doing is casting Ad Loquium on the main tank. The white mage has the off tank. That's always the white mage's job. So the white mage is handling the off tank. He's casting regen on them, on both tanks to make it easier for us, but pretty much just using cure and regen to keep the off tank up. I'm using Ad Loquium to keep the main tank up. Other than that, we have our Bard with Mana Song on. This is a perfect time for the Mana Song to be on, so that the Scholar and the White Mage can recharge all their MP. I manage my MP pretty good, so I'm pretty much full for the most part, and I have 3 stacks of Ether Flow. The White Mage doesn't have the same regeneration or ability with his MP, so his MP is about half. But with the MP Song on, it makes it so that he can get all his MP back for the next phases, which we're going to need them in. So right now, all you're doing, if you're a healer, is healing the main tank if you're a Scholar, or healing the off tank if you're the White Mage. That's the only 2 people you should have to worry about healing. No one else should be taking damage at this point. The Fairy, as you can see right there, I moved the Fairy a little closer to the group so that the Fairy starts healing anyone who gets hit other than the main tank, and the main tank. The Fairy heals everyone. So I moved the Fairy a little closer so that she can heal everyone. I didn't rouse her, I don't think, because I didn't really need to. We pretty much had the MP on we had the MP controlled, we had the health controlled at this point, so there's really no need to rouse her and waste that rouse. I always wait until the situation gets a little hairy to use the rouse. So unless I'm just overhealing. So basically, at this point, the whole team is AoEing both the snakes. They're AoEing everything. The off tank is spamming. He's spamming attacks to keep aggro. They're using all their moves for keeping hate, and the rest of the team is just AoEing and doing as much damage as they can on all the snakes. The focus is to get the two little snakes to half point at least. So they're doing all their attacks, and the Hygieas are really the focus. They're trying to get the Hygieas down to half. The Acepius, the main snake, isn't going to go down as fast because he has way more health. But those two little snakes, you can get them below half easily in this little time period that you're here. You're trying to get the Hygieas down to at least half, so that you can limit break them in the next phase. But right now, you're just focusing on doing as much damage to them. The lower you get them, the better. I would prefer that we all stayed in the hole and just continue to do that type of damage for the next dive bomb phase. But it's a lot easier if you just have the off tank run out and take the two little snakes with him, which makes it a lot easier for us to dodge the dive bombs. If he gets a dive bomb, he runs up the hill, as you'll see in the next phase, and we just run out the hill the same way we did in the first phase, which makes it a lot easier. So when they're about half health, that's when he takes them off, and that's where we're ready for the next phase. So this phase is simply us going down into the same spot where we were doing the dive bombs in for the snakes. The main snake is on, or the main tank is on the main snake, trying to hold the aggro of the main snake, which is no problem. The off tank is holding the hate of the two little snakes, and everyone's doing AoEs trying to get the snakes down as much as possible for the next phase. So that's pretty much all you're doing in the snake phase. It's really easy. Okay, this is the next phase, the second set of dive bombs. It's really simple, just the same thing. Once the tank gets once everyone gets those snakes down to half, the two snakes run out with the off tank, and basically he's just running around, just kiting them around the map. As you can see, him just running around. He's not really going anywhere special. He's just running around, just keeping them in a big loop. Whenever he gets the dive bomb, he heads from that dive bomb spot. He just changes the direction and starts running up the hill. The rest of the group, if the dive bomb hits us, we stay inside, or the people who don't get hit stay inside. The people who get hit start running around with the tank the same way. As you can see, I'm just following the tank around, and that's pretty much how you do the whole phase. Even if you get hit, you can still survive the whole phase. You don't have to stop. So as you see, the tank ran off. It just taking him a big circle. I'm continuing to use Allopium and Lustration and stuff like that on the main tank as he's holding the main snake. If the off tank gets a dive bomb, he just runs straight up the hill, or he starts heading straight up the hill. Once we get the dive bomb, we run out the same way. Now, if we do get hit, like we just did right there, or they just did, they're gonna start running with the tank. And that's pretty much it. And we just continue on to the next phase. So snakes get to half. The off tank takes the two little snakes away. Once the dive bombs happen, we run up the same way we were doing before. Now, if someone gets hit, they stay out. It's that simple. So that's pretty much it. The only thing you have to make sure of is that people are down in that ditch. If people are down in the ditch during the dive bombs, then you shouldn't have any problems with people getting hit when they go up the hill. I think the issue we had with that dive bomb is that someone ran up too fast. So the first dive bombs is on the off tank. He changes direction and heads up the hill.
the second dive bomb happens, everyone starts running away. They get hit somehow. I guess they didn't get out there fast enough. But even though they got hit, they still just continued on with the tank, running the same way with the tank. Just running a big C with the snakes and then running up the hill. That's pretty much all you have to do. Let's go ahead and move to the next phase. The main thing that we're trying to do is get rid of all those extra snakes and start killing the main snake. So the whole point of this phase is to get everyone together. The main tank is taking he's taking all the snakes over to the spawn of the next set of snakes. So as he takes them over close enough to where he can bring in the other snakes, the other two snakes that spawn. And then once those other two snakes spawns, they get them all together, and then they cast Limit Break. The Limit Break kills the first two snakes and gets the second two snakes to about, actually, like half or less than half. So that's the main point of this phase, is to run over, take all the snakes over to where the second snake spawn, Limit Break all the snakes together, which is going to kill the first two snakes and get the second two snakes at half, and then you're going to go ahead and proceed through killing the second two snakes. So as you can see, the first two Hygeias, the top two Hygeias, G and H on my bar are the first two which die in the Limit Break. The second two, K and Y, if you can see, or sorry, J and K, and my little enemy bars, they're the second two that are about to die. So that's all this phase is for. So when you're running out after those second dive bombs, once you run out after the second set of dive bombs, all you're trying to do is get to the other snakes so that you can limit break them all together. That's all. It's a really simple phase, and if you break it down and you separate the phases like this, it'll make it a lot easier for you to see all the mechanics and to execute everything that you have to execute in each phase. One thing that you need to know about the snakes: when the snakes blow up, they give you stacks of damage. As you can see, the 2 stacks on Brave, or 4 stacks on Brave now. And there's a few stacks that were on Solus, so which is melee. He's our melee DPS. The stacks can be dodged. You don't have to get the stacks. As you see, our main tank always dodges the stacks. Once they die, they blow up and they give you stacks. Now the stacks affect the main snake also, so you have to blow the snakes up near the main snake. Hygeias have to be blown up near the Excepias. So when they're blown up, it gives the Excepias stacks that makes him easier to damage. And every time the snakes blow up, they reset his stacks. So when the first blow up, he gets stacks, and then the second blow up, he gets more stacks, which makes it easier for him to take damage, which is going to allow you to kill him faster. Alright, so at this point, the main tank is running away from the explosions for the stacks, so that he doesn't have any stacks. And then everyone's switching over to the main snake to kill the main snake. So the good thing about having all those stacks on the main snake is that the main snake takes like 4 times the damage or whatever. So when I'm casting this ruin, as you can see, my ruins are hitting for like 400, 500. So when I'm in cleric stance, they only do like 220 or something like that. But because of all those stacks, I'm hitting the snake for 470. So I put all my dots on the snake. Everyone's pretty much doing all the damage they can on the main snake. Because it has so many stacks, it's going to go down really fast. So at this point, the white mage is healing the main tank. Everyone else is DPS. Everyone else is doing as much DPS as they possibly can. So as you can see, everyone's attacking it. The snake is going down pretty good. Once the snake goes down, as you can see, we placed the 2 Neurolinks right there. He's standing right in between the 2 Neurolinks, so that when Twintania comes down for a Giga Flare, we can just run right in. He's at the bottom one. This is pretty much just how we do it. Now you can place the 3rd Neurolink wherever you want. You can do it however you want. You don't have to do it this way, but this is the way we do it. It's pretty easy, and it makes everything really simple because we learned it doing it this way. So it's really easy. So basically, All this phase, all we're doing in this phase is killing the main snake, getting into the Neuralinks for Giga Flares. So that's all we're doing. That's the main thing. Make sure that the main snake has all the stacks. Run it over to the space in between the Neuralink. Everyone switches to DPS except for the main healer, which is the white mage. The white mage is going to be the main healer this time. So the white mage is doing all the healing right now. My fairy is placed in a position for the next phase, so I'm not really worrying about the fairy because it's in the next phase position. I don't want to have to. The reason why I place her there right now, or at the point where I do at the dive bombs, I place her there so that I don't have to worry about her once the Giga Flare happens. I can just run to my spot and she's already in place. We're all ready to go. Killing the main snake. The main tank is taking the main snake over to the area in between the two Neurolinks. Everyone's switching to DPS on the main snake, waiting for the Twintania to come down for the Giga Flare. So that's all this point is about. If someone died, we need to get a stone skin on that person. I'm pretty much going to cast Sucker on everyone just to have give everyone an extra shield. I'm going to cast Sucker. That's going to give everyone a nice little shield. Sacred Soil, trying to cast as much as we can to try to limit the amount of damage she does. We also, at one point, we're using Virus on her at this point. If we use Virus, she does even less damage. So I had a Virus I could have used on her, but I was too busy on switching targets and getting everything ready. At that phase, once she comes down for Giga Flare, everyone needs to click on Twintania and switch her to a focused target. By switching her to a focused target, you'll be able to see when the twisters are coming. As soon as you see the twisters, you start running. That's how you do the next phase. So it makes it a lot easier to get into the next phase if you have that in mind. So at the end of this phase, you want to try your best to switch to Twintania and get her as a focused target. If you get her as a focused target, you'll have a much better chance of seeing the twisters and getting the twisters and dodging the twisters. Twisters are really easy to dodge, and you'll see how to do it in the next phase. So that's pretty much all there is to this phase. It's a really easy phase. You're just moving the snake over. Once the snake is moved over, you're doing as much damage on the snake as possible. Everyone should switch over to damage, except for the white mage or the scholar, however you guys want to do it. I have a lot of attack and I have a lot of different dots and stuff like that. So it's good if the scholar does it because you can get a lot more damage out using the scholar, unless the white mage uses like holy and stuff, which does too much or uses too much MP. And we're gonna need MP going to the next phase. Also, the Bard is also going to put on Mage's Ballot to get us back some MP, and he's going to leave it on for as long as he can between those phases to get back as much MP as he can for the healers, so that we can go into the next phase and have some MP stacked up, so that we can do some serious heals, because you're going to need some serious heals for the next phase. Other than that, it's pretty much a wrap for this phase. This phase is pretty much it's a really easy phase. You just have to keep in mind that you're going into the twisters in the next phase, so you need to focus target Twintania, and that the Giga Flare does a lot of damage. So you got to get it into the narrow link. You got to play Sacred Soil if you have it. You have to use Sucker. You just use as much negation as possible to try to get the party to have the most health as possible going into the next phase. So that's pretty much all it is for this phase. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this next phase has a lot of different parts to it. It's really simple if you just don't overwhelm yourself with the next phase. It's not as difficult as it seems. It's not as difficult as it sounds. It's not that difficult. You have several different things you're worrying about. Twisters, DreadKnights, Death Sentence. That's pretty much it. Twisters, DreadKnights, Death Sentence. Now, the problem with the Twisters is that you have to space everyone out. So everyone needs to be spaced out. If you have melee DPS in the group, then the melee DPS needs to be on one of the back feet of Twintania, and they need to run in a direction that's opposite to the other people that are in the area. Because if you cross paths during twisters, someone's going to blow someone up. So you have to make sure that everyone's spaced out enough to where they can all dodge twisters and not be in the way. So it's good if you guys try to look at the whole area before you go into the fight and try to decide where everyone's going to stand for the twisters. Now, it's good if the bard stands in between the two mages, which is how we have it set up. We have Rice Ball on the far left, um, and Nas in between me and Rice Ball on the hill. This way, if we need Mage's Ballad, he can cast that and we can both get MP back. Um, as far as the Black Mage goes, he can stand wherever. It doesn't really matter as long as he's out of the way and has space around him for the dive bombs. And when dive bombs or twisters come, he's going to run a circle in that area, or you can run straight back. It doesn't matter. You can dodge twisters just by being out of the spot where it's cast. So you'll see the twisters cast bar go up on Twintania if she's your focus target, which she should be your focus target now. I wasn't able to switch it for some reason. I didn't switch it. I guess I wasn't really worried about it. But once I ran to my spot for the dive or for the twisters, then I switched to her as my main target and started dodging the twisters, and I think I almost missed one. But all you're doing in this phase is switching Twintania to your main target so that you can dodge twisters. You're dodging twisters by running in the small circle, which you'll see, and you're waiting for the DreadKnights to spawn. Now, the DreadKnights are going to spawn in between the twisters, and sometimes there will be a DreadKnight and you'll have a twister with the DreadKnight. The DreadKnight is taken out by focusing, by the main tank focusing on the DreadKnight and stunning the DreadKnight. The main tank has 3 different stuns that give you about 9 seconds to take out the DreadKnight. I think the Black Mage is using Lethargy. Whatever the Black Mage is using, it just slows the DreadKnight down. And then our Summoner is using Miasma. I also have Miasma, so if the Summoner gets stunned for some reason, then there's not going to be any Miasma. Miasma is a very important spell to slowing down the DreadKnight. So sometimes I'll switch and I'll use the Miasma just to get the DreadKnight to slow down. I'm not really worried about damage, so I don't have to switch to Cleric stance. So all I'm doing is casting Miasma on the DreadKnight just to get the DreadKnight to slow down, which gives them more time to kill the DreadKnight. Now, why are we slowing the DreadKnight down? A stun happens. It's a little red circle with these little waves that goes around the person, and you'll see it. When that stun happens, there's going to be a when that stun happens, the DreadKnight is going to start moving towards the person that's stunned. If the DreadKnight gets to the person that's stunned, he's going to do a one-hit kill on whoever that is. So let's go ahead and play this phase out. So once the Giga Flare happens, everyone's running to their spots. Now, as you see, we're spaced out. I'm at the top of the hill, pretty much where we start. When twisters happen, I'm just running a little circle. That's all. The main tank is taken in the middle. We have the Bard on the left of me, and then Rice on the farther, or the White Mage on the farther left. So as you can see, our main tank is stunning the DreadKnight to keep him right in that area. Our Summoner is stunned, as you can see in the top right corner. He's stunned. I cast Miasma on the DreadKnight to slow it down, so you can see the DreadKnight slowly making its way to our guy, and that pretty much stops the DreadKnight. So sometimes you don't get a twister on you, but you still need to run your circle. So as you can see, we have our warrior on the back right foot of Twintania, and we have the other melee damage on the back right foot or back left foot of Twintania. Once someone's stunned, all we're doing, once the DreadKnight drops, everyone's focusing on the DreadKnight. As you can see, I almost missed a twister, but I got out of the time just in case. Just in time. I got out of the way just in time. So you don't have to run a circle to dodge the twisters. It just makes it easier if you're in motion. That's basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to be in motion while the twisters are happening, because the twisters are going to they're going to land wherever you're at. So if everyone's in motion, the twisters don't happen wherever you're at. Now, once the twisters disappear, that effect is no longer, you don't have to worry about the effect anymore. You can run back to the spot where it was. You don't have to worry about it. At this point, all we're doing is killing the DreadKnights the same way every time. It's the same thing. Death sentence, it's the same thing. You're casting Stone Skin. You're using Eloquium, but you're just worrying about more things at the same time. So it's trying to, the phase tries to confuse you, but it's really the same thing over and over again. It's not that difficult. So um, once a twister happens, you run your little circle, and you just focus on the same fight. Keep your eye on your focus targets. Keep your eyes on your skills. Don't let the twisters take you out of your game and really confuse you. Once the dreadnought spawns, simply switch to the dreadnought. Start stunning them if you're the main tank. Everyone else is just dodging. Twister happens, run your little circle. Um, the summoner casts miasma. Black mage casts lethargy on the dreadnought. Just slow the dreadnought down. Everyone else focus on healing the main tank. Now, the same thing happens with death sentence as it did before. If he gets hit with death sentence while he's low on health and not it doesn't have a stone skin and that loquium, he's gonna have that debuff that's gonna make it harder to heal the tank. So you want to have your ether flows stacked up. As long as you have ether flows stacked up, you'll be able to deal with the damage that's coming out during this phase. Once the Neurolink breaks, then the next phase starts and you're pretty much done. That's all this phase is. It's really simple. Giga Flare happens, run to wherever you guys decide you're going to be for the twisters. That's the only reason why we're splitting up like this, is for the twisters. So once everyone is in their positions, the tank is in the middle. Dreadnought drops, stun the Dreadnought immediately. Stun them. And you have to space your stuns out, I think, so that the stuns give you more time, and it's a way to do that. And if you're a tank, you should already know how to make your stuns last longer. You just basically stun and wait a few seconds, stun again, wait a few seconds, stun again. Twister happens, run your little circle. Everyone should be in good spacing. As you can see, our melee DPS are both on the legs of Twintania, like we had them on the first phase for the fireballs and the configurations. They're on the back feet the same way. All you're doing is basically just attacking, and when the twisters happen, you guys got to agree on running in different directions so that you guys don't cross your twister paths. Another thing, the dreadnought, when the dreadnought drops, everyone wants to run. You guys want to run back until someone gets stunned. You run back so that it makes it gives the dreadnought a longer distance to travel. If you're really close, the dreadnought is going to be able to get to you really fast and kill you. So as soon as the dreadnought drops, as soon as he comes down, you want to back up, start backing up so that you don't get hit by the stun close to the dreadnought, because it's going to or dreadnought, because it's going to give him a certain distance to travel. So as you can see, he just stunned our bard. Once he stunned the bard is in a good enough position where we have plenty of time to kill him in between the time when the dreadnought is stunned, and he's going to be able to get to our bard. So he is, like, as you can see, the dreadnought is moving really slow. We have plenty of time. So that's all you're doing in this phase. This phase lasts until her life gets down to like the eye, I think, or something like that. Once she goes into the next phase, you're going to be preparing for liquid hells, and that's pretty much it. It's a smooth ride. If you can get past this phase, then it's a smooth ride to the end of the fight. It's all you're going to be doing is basically attacking and dodging simple mechanics. The next mechanics are really simple. They don't really do much damage. You don't have to really worry about dying. It's really important that you keep lustrates on, keep your lustrate stacks up, and everyone keeps their MP up at this phase, because as you can see, our tank almost died. I didn't have any lustrate, so I was basically forced to use regular heals. I didn't rouse my pet because I don't know what I was thinking, but I should have roused the pet, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So once that Neurolink drops, then the off tank wants to get right into the Neurolink, and that's going to start the next phase. So this next phase is pretty much one of the easiest phases of the fight. Once you get her health down to about the W, she's going to change phases, and she's going to go into the last phase, which is going to be liquid hells and the little bombs that come out of the middle. So once that happens, she's going to drop a Neurolink. The off tank is going to go right into the Neurolink, and it's going to basically you're going to see this little triangle thing with the ball spinning around the person. It's going to spawn a ball, and that ball is going to try to go and hit the person. Now, what you can do is if you stand in the middle link with the off tank, you can basically force all those balls to hit the off tank, and they do less damage to the off tank because he's standing in the Neuralink. So if the main tank gets the liquid hells like he just did, you just want to run in a small little area, move out of the way to liquid hells, but keep her in the middle. You cannot move her from the middle, that middle spot, because that's where the balls are going to spawn. So it's good. It's important that those balls spawn right under her with the off tank and the Neuralink, because the ball is basically like it just targeted me. That ball is gonna track me all the way to, it's gonna track me until it gets to me and hits me, but it will also hit anyone who it comes in contact with. So it's no matter who is targeting, the off tank is taking it. So as you can see, our healer had the bomb, but our healer had the little icon for the bomb, but our main tank took the bomb. So that's all we're doing in this phase, is dodging liquid hells while running them around the outside of the map. As you can see, people are just running around the outside of the map. It doesn't really take too much damage. All you have to do is run. She's gonna shoot 5 at you, and then she stops and then just does death sentence and the regular attacks from the beginning. Death sentence or regular attack, the belly flop, and then she's doing liquid hell. So you just move in a little spot, moving a little just moving a little circle if she attacks the main tank. Other than that, the off tank is inside the middle waiting for the bombs to spawn. If anyone gets liquid hells that's not the main tank, all you're doing is running to the outside of the map. Just run a big circle around the outside of the map, and that's why you'll see me come down into the hill, so that someone could run around who had the liquid hills, which you'll see in a little while. But that's pretty much it. You can't move her too far away from the middle, so you have to pretty much stay in that little same confined spot in the middle if you're the main tank, so that all the Neuralink balls spawn and blow up, or all the balls spawn under her and blow up in the Neuralink on the off tank. So that's pretty much it for this phase, and then you just keep continuing on with the phase. So I have the little the bomb thing, but it blows up on the main tank. So no one has to dodge anything, so it makes it a lot easier. Only thing you're dodging is the liquid hells. So as you can see, the summoner just got it. I run down the hill so that he can run around the outside of the map. Everyone should automatically know if someone has the liquid hells, that run into the outside of the map. So just come into the map a little bit. So as you can see, those liquid hells disappearing in the background. She's about to start casting them again. All you do is keep this pattern up. Keep running on the outside. They disappear in time for the next set, so you don't have to worry about it. Only 2 sets stay up, and then the rest of them start disappearing. So you'll see these ones on the far left of me starting to disappear. They're gone, disappearing. So now it's ready for the next set of liquid hells if you have that. If you don't have the DPS to do it as fast as we did. And that's pretty much the whole phase. That's Twintania. So hopefully this makes it a lot easier for you guys to beat Twintania. She's really, really easy once you guys understand the fight. Even though we lost people in the fight, it really didn't make any difference because we all understand the fight, and we all do it the same way, and we all work together, and we have a lot of chemistry. So if your group is having issues with certain phases, all you guys have to do is play more together. Study this video, do it the same exact way until you guys can, get to the point where you want to alter it yourself, or make things easier for yourselves based off of how you guys play or what people are having problems with. You can change it up, make it easier for yourself, that's fine. But for the most part, everyone needs to be focused on doing everything the same exact way with the same methods. This way it makes it a lot easier. If someone goes down, we already know, if someone says I'm going to raise such and such, the healer already, if a healer is raising someone, the other healer automatically knows that he has to pick up the heals. If someone goes down, if the summoner gets stunned, I already know I have to pick up the miasma. Everyone needs to understand every phase so that if something happens, the rest of the team can pick up the slack or pick up the issue. And that's pretty much one of the main issues that people are having when they try to beat Twintania. Everyone doesn't understand the fight. Everyone doesn't do the fight the same. And then when something happens, that's a small issue that can be really corrected and really remedied. The whole fight goes to hell because everyone's trying to do different things when something happens. Like this, when the main tank gets liquid held, if the main tank didn't understand what to do, then he probably would have started running around to the outside of the map. That would have threw the whole map, the whole fight off. The bombs would have started spawning wherever Twintania was. He probably would have lost aggro. Like all these different things happen if you guys don't do it the same way. So if you do this fight the same exact way, you won't have any problems doing this fight. It's a really easy fight. So hopefully this guide is the most comprehensive and easiest way for you guys to beat Twintania. If you like, just if you like the video, like it, subscribe, share it on Facebook, Reddit. Just share the video so that everyone can learn how to do Twintania.